Hi everyone, this is another follow-up video thanks to my viewers. Now, we had a video the other week about handbrake and neutral, and it was really aimed at a manual vehicle, and I did mention in that video that maybe we need to do a little video on an automatic, so let's have a look. So here we are back in the Yaris. It's been a while since I've been in this car, but I've used this car for a number of years, and it's obviously an automatic. It's actually a 1.5 litre petrol hybrid, and they're amazing little things. They're really, really good. It's got quite an old-fashioned automatic gearbox. It works as virtually any other automatic would do. We've got the normal park, reverse, neutral, drive, and the B at the bottom is actually a braking gear to actually hold the car back down hills. So how do automatics work? Well, it's quite simple. When you put it in drive and actually come off the foot brake, the car moves. So this is the reason while we stop at sets of traffic lights, why it's important to put the handbrake on. So why is it important to put this handbrake on here? Well, we've just seen those pedestrians walk across. What if my foot had slipped off the foot brake? All right, the car might not move that far. Okay, I get that. But what if I'd fainted? What's this automatic car going to do if I faint? It's going to go forward into them. So we need to keep the car secure. So we know about the use of the handbrake and to keep the car secure, but what about the gears? Well, I did mention in the other video that selecting neutral makes you observe and makes you a better driver, if you like. And there's no reason why you shouldn't do this in the automatic. So the handbrake's going to be on for security. I'm going to put it into neutral and relax. Just an added bit with this car though, when you select neutral, if the battery runs down, the engine then won't charge the battery. So would there be any issue actually putting this car in park? Well, me, not really. There is one tiny little issue that it will then go through the reverse selection and the reverse lights go on at the back, so maybe it might confuse the people at the back a little, but that's a tiny little point. So should you select handbrake and neutral in this automatic? Well, the answer's yes, but maybe you might even think about putting it into park as well. That would bring an extra level of security as well to if you got hit from behind. You're even less likely to go forward in towards pedestrians crossing the road like we've already seen, or other cars that are in front of you. So just going back onto what I was saying about this car, why maybe selecting park might be a good idea. Let's just quickly show you. Here's a little display of the battery. Hopefully you can see that well enough. And if this battery runs down, in other words, at the moment the car is actually switched on but there's no engine running, everything's working off the battery, the air conditioning's on, so that's going to drain that battery pretty quick. If it's in park and this battery runs down, the engine kicks in and recharges the battery. But if it was in neutral, that's not the case. So new technology, you've got to understand how things work, and if there's slight little tweaks that you need to do with the vehicle that you're driving, that's important to know. So let's go on to this brake pedal a little bit more. Now I'm just going to fall into line at the back of this queue, and we're going to be thinking about the brake lights of the vehicle in front. I know the traffic's just moved off again, so we'll try and have a little look at this a little touch further as well. But quite simply, the brake lights can be dazzling in certain situations. All right, they're not dazzling whatsoever in the bright light and the bright sunshine that we've got today, but certain times at night they can be. But for me, they don't dazzle as much as people make out. I think people are honestly just being awkward. The street lamps tend to be a little bit brighter than brake lights. The oncoming headlights of the cars coming in the opposite direction are a lot brighter than the brake lights. So honestly, is it a massive problem? Well, not really, but we're going to do our best if we can to try and think about other people. And if there's any way we can secure our car and take our foot off the brake light so it doesn't dazzle, we're going to try and do it. Are those lights really that dazzling? So there's no one actually behind me at the minute. So what I'm actually going to do is keep my foot on the foot brake until this car behind arrives behind and stops. And then I'll let go of the foot brake. With this being a hybrid car as well, and with everything eventually is going to go hybrid or electric, there's another point that we do need to understand regarding how these vehicles are going to work. Everything's going to be automatic. Now, again, I'm not going to technically go into big detail about it, but electric motors can spin really, really quickly, quite efficiently. So there's no real need for gears unless you're after ultimate performance. So everything's going to go automatic, but what we've got to remember is that when we put it into drive, this brake pedal is effectively like a switch. So there's no drive going forward at the moment until I take my foot off the brake, and you can even feel the car dip down a little bit. And you can even see on the display in front of me, the battery is trying to feed power to the wheels, but as soon as I press the brake again, it cuts off. So remember, electric and hybrid vehicles, pressing this brake pedal is like turning the switch off. So what do we do when we've got different cars with different automatic gearboxes? Well, what we've got here, we've got a BMW M3 Competition, and it's got a dual clutch transmission, which is effectively like an automated manual, but things work in a slightly different way, and we've got to adapt what we do to suit the vehicle that we're in. The first thing that I'd like people to understand is that not all the time automatics are always going to creep forward. Let's just show you what this one does. So when I put it into drive and I take my foot off the foot brake, nothing's going forward, there's no movement, so effectively the car could just roll. Alright, so there's another reason why you need to put the handbrake on. But the car's not going to go forward and escape through a junction in the way that I explained a little bit earlier on with the other transmission. Say for example, if you fainted, this car isn't going to do this, but we've got other little problems that we've got to take a little look at. So let's have a little drive and see what we can do. So the gearbox in this car, it's designed for performance and speed of shifting, because effectively the BMW M3 is a track car for the road. They're very, very quick things. But there's certain differences that we've got to apply to just driving normally on an everyday basis. So the first thing that I'd like to have a little look at is when we hopefully get up to this next set of lights, we can come to a stop, because we're going to have a quick look at the stop start that happens even on performance cars like this. So I come to a stop, and what does the car do? It cuts out. Brilliant. Still going to use the handbrake for safety, but then when I let go of the foot brake, it jumps back into life, and then we get going again. Now, this part of actually the stop-start plays an important part on what you actually do with this car. The stop-start will only work if you stay in drive. So, a little bit further up, I'll try and explain. So, all I'm going to do, I'm just going to pull up and park somewhere on the left. Okay, no worries. So the stop-start should stop the engine. So, if I keep my foot on the foot brake now, the car's going to keep off, maybe while I was at a set of lights, until we're ready to go again. But if you select neutral in this car, watch what happens. The engine starts up again. So that's no good. That's showing a problem with the eco side of things. The engine's now burning fuel. So what would I do in this car? Well, you've got an option, to be honest. You could, if you were just sat here, just literally turn it off. I can take my foot off the foot brakes, and now we have no issue with dazzling people at the back. The car's lovely and secure with a handbrake, and it's in park, so the transmission's locked. But I do have a little reservation with this, because if you were in a queue and there was maybe a big lorry barreling down on the traffic behind, and you need to get out of there, you need to do something with your car to actually go. There's a big safety aspect of that. Look how long it takes to actually get it started again. Oh, here's the lorry. Now I can select, and by that time things are too late. So would I turn the car off unless I knew I was going to be totally safe? Maybe waiting at a level crossing with many cars stacked up behind me, maybe in a queue on the motorway with many cars stacked up behind me. I probably would turn it off then. But just in general driving, what I would do with this car is I would keep it in drive, and I would keep my foot on the foot brake. Because like I've said, honestly, do the lights really dazzle you that much? If they do, you shouldn't be looking at them anyway. You should be looking past and beyond things. So we have to adapt what we're doing to suit the car that we're driving. So as you can see, there's more than one solution, and there's not one answer fits all in this scenario. So have a little think about what type of automatic that you do drive, and honestly, if you're thinking about your driving, that's going to make things a hell of a lot safer. As always, thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you all soon.